Hello, people. How are we all doing? It is the debrief for the Preston North End game, but I have a funny feeling it's gonna get slightly sidetracked by some people with some of the reports that have come out today on everything. Ian and Jez, go have your Christmas meal. Always a pleasure to have you in. We'll go have a good meal with yourself. Evening, Dan, and evening work. I know you probably know for it. We could be in for a guff one this evening, guys. The comment section has been feral lackable, but it has indeed. Partly, I'm not been too bad. My Christmas wasn't bad. I could have done with mine without going to minor injuries, but the eye is on the up now, mainly because the cream's working. Basically, my young'un wrapped my pupil, and it's now healing. Evening, Daniel. Evening, Mike. How are we all doing? Evening, Barry. How you doing, mate? I hope you're well. Yeah, this one could be an interesting one because today's videos have been odd because I've had to kind of, the first video of the day when we were talking about Ronnie Edwards, I kind of did a bit of talking about the situation with the Danny and DC thing, and then I've done a full one on it. But we'll get to that later. Let's talk about Preston. Ian and John, how you doing, mate? Preston game. I don't actually think we played that badly versus Preston. I think we played some of the best football I've seen in attacking sense, moving the ball around in that sense, in a while. I think we played really well and not come away from it. And I think we've had games like this season where we played well and not got the just dessert for it. And I think we struggle at times with it. Went to renew my season ticket, 3 of them, because I'm insane. I think we'll get you a brain scan, Barry. No, good for you, mate. Tell you what. His son, Tommy Edwards, him and Bernard will be disgustingly good. Yep. We were unlucky, to be honest. Yeah, I thought we were. I think you see what Danny said and you see what Josh has said. And it's just silly mistakes that's letting us down. Me too, Jay. I fell over at Christmas Eve, Christmas Day in Barnsley Hospital. And the time since then laying down, missing everything. Oh, mate, I'm gutted for you. Absolutely gutted for you. It's not fun, is it? Might be able to walk in 2 weeks. Just get yourself better. That's the main thing. On Christmas Eve of all things, Jesus, that's not what you needed. I was adamant I wasn't going into hospital Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I said if it got any worse or felt worse, I'll go in Boxing Day, and that's what I did. I got in just at the right time. But I don't think we played that badly. The problem we got is it's sloppy goals that are causing us the issue for us. And at the minute, we are working with a makeshift back lineup. You've got people who are fitting in as centre-backs who are technically not centre-back. They can play there, but their natural position isn't to be a centre-back. By the way, if you're voting for your player of the month, I voted for Josh Windass this month. I think he might get it. But if you look at what we are meant to be playing with in terms of team at the minute, actually pretty quiet, but still hating life, though. Yeah, Cody, yeah. You look at what we got in the situation. We had Beadle in net. You have Matt Lowe, Bernard, and Iorfa, Valerie. And I think Paul played that game as well. So you had Valerie and Dish and Iorfa kind of playing as your back lineup with Matt Lowe and Paul playing as your kind of attacking situations. And the thing is, when you actually take away that Iorfa's now got a knock, Bernard come back, Femo's injured, Awitway's still ill. Take Awitway, Femo, and Iorfa out. You've only got Palmer, Maxlow, Valentine, Valerie, and Bernard. That's your back lineup. And Ottabayo, because he's not on the first team yet, who've been coming in. That's your back lineup. That's very, very sparse. And at the minute, I actually think someone like Marvin Johnson looks like he could do with a bit of a rest. Because I think it was always the case that Marvin Johnson and Matt Lowe were going to be the players that came on in rotation. I always thought that when we got Matt Lowe in, he was going to be the rotation player to come in now and again when Johnson needs a break or vice versa, whoever was going to have it. Now, the problem is they're both having to play the games. You look at the first goal they scored, it's just lack of anyone marking someone. It's man marking, and we're still marking faces instead of the people. And you can see that. excuse me, you can still see that we are marking face and not people, because that you don't leave people that open if you are marking the face, if you're marking the man. And it's annoying because it's the same little culprits. It's a mixture of Iorfa, Valerie, for me, are the ones who keep getting caught. And it's an issue we have to stamp out. Because before they scored, we looked like we were going to get the goal. We started really well. We attacked well. Windass had an excellent shot that just went wide. We were really trying to lay a glove on their keeper. And it was looking like we might have a good day. And I went into this game knowing how good Preston are at home. They are a very good team at home. And you could see when the crowd's on them, they get behind them. And even when the goal went in, we had tried to make some more chances, tried to get things going. And it was really annoying, this game, because I felt like we needed something out of this game, because I felt like we were good enough to get at least 3 points, because I felt like we played some good football. But again, the attacking side was good. All it was lacking with the goals. The defensive side was poor. When we finally did get the goal, it was an excellent strike by Josh Windass to get his 100th goal of his career, his 49th goal for the club, and his 9th goal this season. Both ways of marking have pros and cons. They do. I agree. I've always been a fan of marking the man and not the face, because I think it's easier, but that's here or there. But the goal that we got was fantastic. It was great to see us get it. I thought the tactical switch, taking Chalobah off, it worked to a point. I would have liked to have seen him stay on a little bit longer, but it was a tactical switch. Danny done that. We've seen Danny change things up so many times, which is always good to see him changing things up if he's trying to get back into the game. But the penalty, I looked it back, and the ref had given it. There's nothing we can do about it. I didn't think it was a pen myself. I thought it was outside the box. But as Danny said, it's a tackle he didn't need to make. It's a tackle he didn't need to do. Because if you actually look at the footage, there's a man right behind him who's ready to cover him. And he makes the tackle. And when you give the referee that decision, especially sometimes in a home game for the team you're playing, they sometimes get the penalty. Doesn't work that way with us. If it's over, we just get told no. Because I think Joshua Gore won a myth one. So we haven't had a penalty since that. But 33 people watching, by the way, 13 likes to the back to be an advert as well, sorry. Please like the stream, I much appreciate it. But the thing is, that penalty goes in. It's a good penalty. He makes him go the wrong way. And it killed a lot of our momentum. A lot of our momentum went after that. I felt like we were still trying to go and get things, but it just wouldn't stick. It wouldn't stick at all for the whole of the second half. We were really struggling. We were having to play that whole comeback from behind. And I desperately wanted to go into a game one day soon and lead it and not have to play the game of playing, oh, we're now turning up because we've gone behind. I want to see us take those chances. I want to see us not being in that position where we're going to have silly things like that. Iorfa going off was a massive, massive blow, considering we don't have much backup. Bernard coming back is going to be fantastic. He's going to have to get up to speed quickly. But right now, we need players in that defensive period. And you look at the goal for the lad's second. The parry, at the end of the day, it's a good save, but you parry it away from the defender, and that's something as a young kid, he'll learn. You got to remember, he's only 19. And he's going to have those like little mistakes in him that he does. And it was just annoying for me. The pen was what did it for us. I actually thought it was a sound called. We deal with it. We have to. The thing is, we have to deal with it. I've seen another bit of footage off it that looks like it's outside, but I'm not going to go on with it. It's been called. It's done. We can't do out about it. It's the penalty been given. They scored it. Fair play to them. The third goal they got was just Beadle tried to save it. He parried it, and he parried it straight into the attacker who managed to get it. And Beadle couldn't get the rebound to like jump on it. And at that point, you're like, okay, wasn't going to be our game. The only positives I saw for me was...
Give us McNeil!
McNeil came on and played really well, trying to set people up, trying to have a chance himself. I thought McNeil had a really good game when he came on around the 70th minute and played some good football. So that's a positive there. That maybe he's going to get some more game time. Maybe he's going to get some more minutes soon, because I think it'll be nice to just change it up a little bit. We went very, very, very attacking in the end. I think we only have one recognised centre-back on the pitch when it did happen. And he went for it. At the end of the day, he went for it. Like, he got to use the button. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, John. I did not put it on my soundboard for nothing. But at the end of the day, you look at that game and you're thinking it's at least a point dropped. Maybe two, because of how we played. But defensively, we have to get better. Silly mistake can't keep happening. Like Danny said, we can't keep going into games where we're coming back from behind, because eventually it's not going to happen. And that was that game on Sunday. The game on Sunday was it's not going to happen all the time. There's only so much you can do before you have to sort it all out, and that's the problem. Not gonna lie, when I saw McNeil coming out beaming for the lad, he had a decent show. He looked good. I think he then maybe another sub appearance next game, maybe start him if you want to see what happens. But at the end of the day, I really want to see Danny use him a little bit more. If he can use him a little bit more, fantastic. But we'll have to see about that, see how we can utilise him the best we can. But it was nice to see him get a run. And that's what you wanted. You wanted to see a run for him. And less than like 30 seconds that he had last time, he showed a bit what he can do. And if you have a look at all the photographs he put on Instagram or the comments with the players know he's there and he's good. And that's the thing. Sometimes you get lads who come in and sometimes maybe they're not fitted in because they haven't played many games. But he got really good comments from a lot of the lads. They can see what he can do. So hopefully that means he's going to come into his own. We're going to go into what the comments were that weren't broadcast but were asked by to Danny about the transfer thing, because that's been today's whole big topic, has been this whole transfer situation and not talking and whatever. Now, I generally think the way Alex Miller put it on Twitter was fantastic. I think the way he actually spoke about it, I don't think the midfield three with Smith up front works. If it was up there, I think it would have got gone. Maybe, yeah. I can see that, Alex. I can actually see that one. So maybe it would have been something that might have worked, but he tried it. It didn't work. You have to go back to square one. One of the things for me, hang on, mute me. One of the things for me that was very interesting was the fact that he changes it up a little bit. And I think Ugbo came on when he did, and I don't think he did too bad. But at the same time, evening, Tom, how you doing, mate? And evening, Alex, hope you well, mate. Alex Miller had this to say. Danny Rule and recruitment team have identified targets as the when they process it, their jobs, and then go to DC to discuss or complete a deal. Clear to me that communication must improve, maybe in all directions. I believe this very much is the case from what Alex Miller has said, and I think this is the same. I generally think, because a lot of people this morning saw the comments that he made saying, I'm not having any discussion about the transfer window with the owner. We've not spoken about it. I don't know when our next will speak about it. But then in the same morning, you get a story that says we've inquired about Ronnie Edwards. That makes me think that maybe Chansiri got wind of what the comments were and said, and then he gone, I'll get in touch with Danny, or maybe by chance he's not done that, but he's gone, hey, Danny, time to talk about the transfer window. And I think what Danny's been trying to get at, he wanted to get this done ahead of time. He wanted to plan. And the thing is, we know very much so that sometimes DC isn't much a planner. It's a, we'll get it done when we get it done, or we'll go do this now. I don't think there's much of a plan there in terms of doing it. Now, I'm not a fan of DC. I'm very neutral on his decision where some just don't like him no matter what. But if Danny leaves for any reason, it's better moving to a bigger budget. That'll be me done. I think that's the same thing I got a little bit. I got a little bit of that. Of if it's because of budgets, it just shows you where we can't compete. And I think that'll be the one thing that makes Danny go. Where you go to a team where the budget's bigger and maybe it's run a little bit better, where they've got a director of football and stuff, which you used to seeing at Southampton, Red Bull, Bayern Munich, where there's someone else. If you get the director of football in, or even a CEO, you don't have to have the middleman. You don't have to have Chansiri doing this. You have someone who he trusts and goes, I agree with this. That all DC needs to do is sign the check. It doesn't need to be a yes or a no. But I think there's a whole point of middle management that DC not a fan of doing for whatever reason. And I don't think it would be bad if we got a director of football just to give it a try, because we've not done it. And it sounded like at one point we were going to get one, and then he decided against it. But the thing is, what you got is now we've got the thing that we've inquired. Now everyone have thrown pelters at Alex Miller and Joe Cram, which I don't think is fair. Alex Miller's literally reported on a direct quote to him and Radio Sheffield. It's a direct quote from Danny Rule's mouth to the paper. It's not something that's made up. It's not something that's the direct quote. Joe, in the morning, in the same period, at about 9 or 8, got a story saying, got information that we've inquired about Ronnie Edwards, which makes you wonder, did communication finally happen for us to go, hey, we've inquired? Because you got to remember, the Australian striker kid who we were linked with wasn't a local journalist. It was a TalkSport story. No point discussing transfer with DC until he gets the payment stage. True. Yep, I agree. The sheer OTT control freak that DC is eventually will upset every manager. He's upset a lot of managers that have worked for him in the past. I don't believe that it's ever been smooth sailing with Danny and DC at times. I think there's times where I think Danny may have gone, I'm not used to this level of working stuff. Hi, Jake. It's always a worry when Chansiri's name is mentioned, but hopefully he'll find a way to fund to add the squad. The thing is, the players, and hopefully will, and you got to remember, it'll be loans. If anything, I think it'll be loans. If we buy, it is potentially doing like a Duncan Maguire, but you're going to have them either in for now, and they're going to hit the ground running, or they're going to be in one for the future. If the young Australian happen, it doesn't need to be registered, so can bring in free loans. Exactly, because he's under 19. And that's the thing. I think that's something we may be even looking at going, hey, if we bring him in, we don't have to register him, so we can get another loan in, which I think is something they might be thinking of. But the thing you've got is, right, from what Alex Miller, at the Star has basically said, the two players so far that have been identified that went they want are Ronnie Edwards and Louis Barry. Now, Louis Barry is wanted by a lot of clubs. I think Leeds might be after him, Sheffield United might be after him, Middlesbrough were after him, but they pulled out. Apparently, they pulled out the running for him. We're after him. So it all depends. Now, I hope contact have been made and spoke about with them as well. But the thing is, I think Danny wanted to go into the latter stage of December knowing that all the targets that have been agreed, they could go January 1st, go to the club, X, Y, and Z, and go there. And I think that's where the communication bit had broken down. And I think that's where the communication bit may have gone aside, because he's not been able to have that communication saying crystal clear, this is what we're doing. I think it might have been, we'll discuss it once the window opens, which is not a way to do transfer business. You want to do it ahead of time so you know what's going on, so you're ready for it. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. I think we'll have some I think we'll have some business done. I don't know how much. Hi, Jake. I've missed a lot of stuff today. Can you give me a quick rundown of what's gone off? So basically, Zamoid, basically what's happened is a story come out with Danny saying that he hasn't had a conversation with Danny. Danny and DC have not had a conversation about the transfer market, about what's happening, or if he's going to have a conversation with him. And then in the same morning, Joe Cranton a story saying that we've inquired about Ronnie Edwards at Southampton, which then kind of doesn't debunk what got said, but makes you wonder if they've had that conversation already, which I think it is. Me. At the same time, DC has the right to make sure the money isn't being wasted, but you're right, he should delegate to someone better. Yep, I agree. Borough giving up seems weird. Maybe the club has asked for guaranteed playtime. Maybe. You hope that Villa have just wanted him to play and get more minutes. That's maybe why he'll get more money here than at Leeds and United. Yep. I've seen a lot of people saying Danny will walk now because DC ain't backing him. It's not a case of Danny's not back. He's not backing him. I think a lot of people are taking the comments and going, oh, he's now going to walk because he's not going to get backed. You do have that worry in the back of your head. I won't lie. I'd be lying if I said I would be worried if Danny didn't get backed that he would go to the nearest club that might offer him a contract in Germany or something and leave. But here's the thing. Danny has been backed in the summer. And people are right, he had been backed in the summer. But he needs a little bit more. Look at what happened last January transfer window. We needed players. Danny got those players he needed. And if you remember last season, we were in a worse position than we were in now. So we struggled to get some players in because they didn't want a relegation battle. You will have some players who might get told that they want to come, that the team want Wednesday to go to Wednesday because they want to see if they can go maybe do a playoff push. Maybe. You never know. Villa might sell him to get some 100% financial fair play profit. That's the latest going around the play. Borough can't afford it. And also, we will likely crunch him in the final Stockport game on Wednesday. Yeah. Please don't do that because knowing how look, you'll crunch him and we'll end up losing him because he'll be injured. Also, Danny said the conversation I'm having, yeah, it doesn't have to show his hand. True. It could be a bluff. It could be a bluff, exactly. I think it could be a bluff to go, hey, we haven't had it yet, to show people that maybe we have had it. And then our target don't get that. That's a good point, Run Pump Man. It's a point that I hadn't actually thought about. That one. I hadn't even thought about that idea. But again, I think everyone lost the crap at our local journalist for no reason. Going it with two stories that were conflicted. And I think it was conflicting, but I also saw it as a point of saying he did the interview at like 3:30. A lot could have happened from 3:30 to 9 a.m. in the morning about inquiring about a player. So a lot could have happened. So what's the latest on Lewis Barrow then? We are in the mix. I just don't know if we're one of the leading clubs. I don't know who's leading it at the minute. We are in the mix for him now. We are a team that's very interested in him coming to Wednesday to have a loan spell. And it's probably the right kind of player we need. Like Alex Miller said, the two that he knows that are target for Wednesday from a Wednesday point of view are Ronnie Edwards and Louis Barry. Now, we'll see what happens because there'll be a lot of people looking at Louis Barry as well. Just because of not Louis Barry, looking at Ronnie Edwards because they can do it. What do you think the transfer market value would him with him being 22? You mean in terms of if you were going to buy him as a permanent, Zamoid? I generally don't think we could afford him. Like, if you were asking if it was going to be a permanent, not a cat and house affording him. And I think Villa do see him in the thing, but like John said, if they got a chance to sell him, I think they will. You look at his 14 goals this season, so it's interesting. I'm sure Chansiri is in the same boat as us. we don't want to lose him, so he will give him something. I think it won't be what we all want, but both will have to compromise. I agree. I think Danny compromised quite a bit with DC, and I think he understands it. But I will say this. Danny got to be careful. Danny got to be really, really careful, because we never had a manager who come out and openly criticised DC like he has at times. Now, I don't think it's bad, kind of thing. It values about 1.8 million, Zamoid. So maybe we could afford it, but I'd be intrigued to see if we did. I still think that probably a little bit too much, but you never know. We nearly threw 2.5 million at Duncan Maguire last January, so you never know. And I think it was 1.4 at Pervader. Ian and Dannington, how you doing, mate? I hope you're well. But it probably will be the end of the season loan. Probably on a long contract, 15 to 20 million, but we'll sell on back clause. If we can buy to all depends if you can get the money in. It all depends on where it is. It's all right, you're saying, can you do that? But you've got to remember two things here. It is very rare you buy players in January. It is extremely rare a player will get bought in January. But we'll see. He's one of those players whose middle name's also a first name. Louis Mark Barry. All transfer talk is about signings. I think we do with selling a couple in Jan. We don't have. Yeah, but we don't have the problem is, if you sell, you need to have a guarantee that a player coming in, because we don't have the cover to sell. You only sell if someone coming in. And that's the thing for me. That's the only way I think you can do it. You only be able to sell if you know someone coming in. Because you remember last time, we tried to get a midfielder in, and we let Byers and Backinson go, and we couldn't get that lad in who went to Charlton. What happened to Duncan Maguire, who bought him? He's still at Orlando. He got a new deal. No one bought him. They never went back in for him at Blackburn Rovers. He agreed a new contract that keeps him there till 2027. And they have an option of 2028 with him as well. So they never really did anything. He did... Excuse me. 27 appearances, 10 goals, 2 assists last season. So he wasn't that bad. They'll got double figures, but they kept him. They just put a new deal in front of him. I think what he was always trying to do was either trying to get a new deal with Orlando and then go from there. Ronnie Evans doesn't add to this event, but he's a ball-playing defender, which would suit the system even more. True. Probably alone a few out like McNeil, Otabio, and some weekly. The thing is, I don't see people going out unless you're looking at maybe a Whitway. I don't think McNeil's going to go out on loan. I think Otabio will stay. You look at what we got, right? You look at what we got in terms of our cover. There isn't much cover until you get a couple of players in. Until you get a couple of players in, you can't let them go. If you've got 2-3 million, I'll look at kind of Wickham, Swansea rumoured to be in from. Very good player. Very good player. I highly would recommend anyone in Championship to go for him. I'm still confused on Duncan Maguire. Didn't they do oh no, they signed him. They signed him, but they didn't put the paperwork in time. There was a whole there was a whole thing of him signing, holding the shirt up, putting pen to paper, but they never filed the document right, and that's why it all fell through. And he had to go on a plane back home, and he asked his agent going, what happened now? He said, I don't know. This doesn't happen ever, kind of thing. One from Smith or Pato. Can't really afford to loan out Otabio at the minute. Exactly, Barry. That's the thing. You haven't got enough to loan out at the minute because our back line is seriously depleted. If Iorfa's out for a period of time, we already know Atkins out. That too, they're injured. Michael Whitway, that's it. They got the fax number wrong. Michael Owitway still ill. Don't know if he'll be coming back, and he hasn't played much football this season for us so far. Palmer just getting back from illness. Matt Lowe, Deshaun will be back. Valerie and Valentine. If you actually look at it, you've got Palmer, Lowe, Bernard, Valerie, Valentine. That's who you've got. You're missing 3, and maybe Otabayo if you could. All I know is defense needs sorting. I'm not sure how Danny got it. Defense does need sorting. You can't leak 6 goals in a week and say that the defense is fine. It's not. Defense needs sorting. The fact that we got Windass scoring 9 goals is helping, but our attackers need to pop up as well. Smith has done okay. We haven't got Masaba at a minute because he's ill. Gassama looked good again when he came on, but we wanted to give him a bit more of a rest. I think the one player we really need cover for is Marvin Johnson. I generally think Marvin Johnson is one of the players that needs a rest. Wonder if we have any under 21s that we could bring to first team if we don't have much wiggle room. We've already done it with Otabayo, though. And if I'm not mistaken, the under 21s are not blessed with a lot of defenders. Sam Reed has gone out on loan. Maltby's out on loan. That leaves you Flanagan, Johnson, Gwillier, and Otabayo. That's it. That's all you got. And so you still got to be able to do that because we are loaning a lot of players out. So it's interesting. I get what you're saying, mate. I do understand what you're saying. Maybe we can nab someone out the 18s or 21s, but then you're leaving them short. And then they're going to nick it out of another one. So it's a catch-22. I think Sean should go out on loan because we haven't seen him since the cup games. I think Sean is someone definitely who should go out on loan. I think he's decent. Maltby did get injured, you're right. He was out for a period of time. I forgot about that one. Yeah, Maltby did get injured. So the thing I've liked so far is Ingleson started to play well. Chalobah started to play well. Lowe looks okay. Jamalo when he comes on. But we're still missing. What is the cable? We're still missing players, and the squad is small, and I think it by design. But I think he wanted another defender in the summer. He wanted another defender. Do you think we loan Cadamartri out again next season? Or give him? I think he get 13 football next season. I generally think he get 13 football next season. I think that's been the whole point of this season. I don't think you bring him back now, but you can make a case to say he's scoring and maybe because we're not scoring, you bring him back and he plays, but he needs to be playing. So then it's like, who are you dropping? Smith ain't getting much game time at the minute. Smith is getting most game time, sorry. Both not getting much at the minute. And then you've got Charlie and Callum. And they got Gassama and Masaba and Olaf, who are your wingers. Only midfield from the youth who are probably next in line. Don't feel any of the young defenders are quite ready yet. Maybe signing both 2.5, put the foot on the brakes. Yeah, but it shouldn't be the case. Your case shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that case though. I know 2.5 million is a lot for us, and it's not worked yet. And the people who've written him off in 6 months. One of the things is he's getting in the right positions. If you look at when he got moving, the movement been good. He's just not got in the right position for it yet. And we seem to play different when he comes on the pitch, which is odd. If we don't get no strike in this window, do we call Cab back and sell Pato? I don't think you're calling Cab back. The whole point of Cadamartri going out on loan is to play 13 football. He's currently doing that. He's playing 13 football. If you bring him back to then sit on the bench, that's not going to be great for his development. I don't think you sell Pato yet. I think this could be Pato's last season with us, though. But even if you sell Pato and you bring Cads in, you've got to then hope Cads can get up to speed quickly with our team. So it's interesting. We could do with another striker, only half our consistent goal scorer, Windass, plus another central defender. We're probably. We need defense, and we need. I'd say we probably need more of a creative midfielder than a striker, because I don't think we create enough yet, and that's the issue. We don't create enough for the thing. We need someone who's like a Pervader, like who can get off the seat, beat a man, get it in the box. We haven't got that. Whenever we try and beat a man, we either run into trouble or we overrun it. We need someone who can do that. Should start playing Windass as a false nine. Yeah, Windass is the interesting one because he's playing well and you don't want to blunt his bark at the minute, so you need to be careful. Tyler Roberts needs a new home. Any takers? I'll be surprised if Ubbo wasn't amortized in account. Perfect. We should spend around 500k from his deal. Maybe. Well, the thing is, Barry, you're on about this year's accounts that have just come out. It won't be on there. It'll be on next year's. It'll be on next year's accounts. Good to see McNeil get a run out yesterday. McNeil could be the type of player. Paredo. Yep, I agree. I do feel safe knowing for some reason that Charles. But if for some reason Charles went back, I think Chalobah is strong enough to replace him if he stays fit. Yeah, I agree. The Charles thing is interesting. And also I'm going to mention his little brother as well. Yeah, it is his little brother, isn't it? Yeah. If he went back, yeah, I still want to bring someone in to replace Charles, because then that leaves your midfield very light. That makes your midfield extremely light, actually. Now, Pierce Charles, there is some interesting talk that Spurs want him. Now, you could have a situation, say that they sign him, and they say in the summer, but they say in the summer, we'll loan him back to you, but he can play 13, he's got to play. And that's how you get him in the first team, you go from there. Thank you, mate. Thank you for that, mate. Yeah, it will be for this year, but it's better than the 5 million over 4 years. Then, yeah, I agree. So Pierre Charles went. Say we got a bit of money for Pierre Charles. That could potentially give you the money that DC needs in January to get a transfer budget going. And have a decent budget and have a decent window. Maybe that's something you do. Oh, prime Barry Bannon. Prime Barry Bannon, clone him, yeah. 10 bars than a prime Gary Hooper pick up the league. I feel Pierre Chill will get first team next year. We can't lose. You're saying we can't lose into a transfer. But people are saying we need funds to fund the transfer. He's one of our sellable assets. I agree. I wouldn't want to lose him. I want him to be our first team goalkeeper next season. But here's the thing. You only sell him if the price is right. If the price is right, you sell him. And that's the only way you do it. And that's where you've got to be careful. The good thing about Charles, he's on a long-term contract. Therefore, he has the balls in our court. It all depends on what he wants to do as well. Does he want to go sit in some of the under 21s or something? I don't want to sell Pierce Charles unless we're willing to sign Beadle on a perm. Yeah, but there's no guarantee you're going to get Beadle on a permanent next year. They may want to keep him. And then if they know we want him, finding out that we may have got 5-6 million, that 5-6 million has gone straight on your keeper. Where you could have quite easily kept your keeper. If you do sell Pierce Charles, you put a big sell-on fee of 20 to 25% of whatever he gets made on his net sale. Yes, I agree. You put a big sale for 500 million for Pierce Charles, defo bargain. Yep, agree. We do also remember when was the last time Chansiri sold a player. He doesn't like to see that it's a problem when they leave on freeze. Last player he sold would have been Jack Hunt or Who was the last player we sold? Now you've got me questioning. Come down. If you look at Brighton's ranks of goals, they have a good one. I think signing Beadle at the end of the season could be realistic. I agree. Andre Green, Bambo. No, Bambo. Bambo at the end of the season. Yeah, Bambo. Of course it was. Bambo Diaby. I think we got 500k for him. Worth something to remember that young players 100% profit on FFP balance sheet. So, for example, you sell someone for 500k, you use that to buy someone with a much higher value in real. Thank you for that, mate. Yeah, it was Bambo. You can loan a player for more than a season too. It's rare, but you do get them. You do get 2 to 3 year deals. It's a possibility that could happen. I already missed the days of Wallace, Leeds, and Adam Reach. Yeah, Adam Reach still doesn't have a club, by the way, which is insane. I would have thought he would have got somewhere. But I think when you look at the whole situation, we do have to maybe start looking at some of our younger players being sellable assets. So you're looking at your Bailey, your Pierre Charles kind of thing and see. And we have to maybe go down that route a little bit. But it is what it is. Still not over letting Dele go. We had nothing we could do about that one, Zamoid. There's sod all we could do about it. We put a very good deal in front of him, and he didn't want to stay. It was a mixture of him and agent. Agent knew we could get a better deal for him in Turkey, and look at him now, playing Champions League and playing excellent football. I'm glad we saw him for when we did. I think under a Danny Rule, he would have been fantastic in this midfield. But it is what it is. We are the kings of letting players go for nothing and not making anything. So it's that whole situation we have to be careful. Reaching the goals of the month, yep. Brighton sort of deal for Beadle for Pierce, but don't know if Beadle will make that true. By the way, Michelantos will be out for at least next year. Yeah, I've seen that. He's going to be out for a very long time. 42 people watching, 20 likes. Let's get that up to 40, please, people. Much appreciated. It pushes the algorithm. Signing on a free next year workout. There's no guarantee you're going to get the same player after the accident either. That's something you're going to be wary of if you're a West Ham fan. You might not get the same player in terms of how athletic he is and how powerful he was. No shout for the fact we lost her, who's now in the Prem. Yep. There was an article in the Athletic recently where it said Champion and League One club will be able to take young Premier Academy dropouts if an under 18s still qualify. That'd be good. That's something we should utilise then a lot. By the way, did I read something, John, that because of you and Wrexham, they're changing the FFP laws in League One? Let me know. Definitely won't do. That's it. That's it for the career, I think. Probably, yeah. That's the money all method Brighton used. Cads sell for 10 million, can be playing for less than 4, selling again for 20. Yeah, it is the Brighton model. It's also the Brentford model. It's the way we should do things, but it's finding those players and getting them in at the first place and getting them to be good. I would have thought during Southampton talk there would have been a transfer window assurance. Who do you mean with? You mean with Danny or with talking to inquiring or Charles? I don't like me, Bob. He's arrogant little babies. So is his dad nowadays. They still qualify for 100% profit on FFP. I was honestly convinced Herc would have stayed on for his dad's legacy. Evening, Bob. How you doing, mate? Hope you well. Will there be more Birmingham? Probably will be more Birmingham than Wrexham with the Brummies bent in the summer. DXT. Yep. I'll say, who are you tagging? We've basically been discussing the game at the weekend, which I thought we were unlucky to lose. In terms of how we played, I think that the goal we let in, Bob, just bad descent to there. And we've been talking about the news with the transfer situation with DC and Danny, and then we spoke about Ronnie Edwards being inquired about this morning. There you go. Go get your dinner, Jazz. Have a good one, mate. Have a good rest of the evening. Everyone had blamed us, but the rule was under discussion last season. It's all about ownership, gift, and limiting the amount of cash you can put in. As it turns out, ours only did 3 million. Oh, so basically, they blame you because of how much money you spent, but in theory, it wasn't you that caused it. Right, get you. So I apologise. In that's what I seen, but I apologise today, mate. We've not recovered from Jordan Rose. That signing gives me nightmares. Yep. Championship FF3s are still under discussion, by the way, so I expect them to change before the end of the season. I've seen that. I'll be interested to see what they do to that. Wasn't a penalty at Preston for me. Anyone else happy that the Blade can shut up now that Kufa had conceded more than Beadle at their ground? I look at the table, mate. We haven't got really anything to say. The second. We're 11th. You look at where they are, they're in the right to be where they are, kind of thing. Also, I've seen some videos of Tom Bailey have put up. It seems a hell of a lot of work has gone into St. Andrew. Yeah, they're building a proper little legacy there, and they've got the right people in charge. You get someone like to stop Southampton and Law, surely some transfer and visual laid down by DC. It will have done, but there was a lot of talk that the discussion didn't get any further because they couldn't pay the compensation. P20. That's the reason he didn't go. They couldn't afford the compensation. It's why they didn't go to Corberan, West Brom at the time. It's all right. They won't be staying up in the Prem next year. No doubt they'll have be in favour for regulation Prem on parachute payments. So if they do, I'll rethink them. Depends how they take. It depends with the takeover now, though. They've got money. They've got money to throw at it now. So Chansiri, this is going a bit fast here. Hang on a minute. So had Chansiri said anything to Danny about January transfers or speculation? Danny, it's not speculation, Nat. Right. Nicky Knack. It's not speculation. It come from Danny's mouth. Danny has said he has not spoken to Chansiri about transfers. That's what Danny said. It had come from Danny that he has not spoken about transfers. That's what he said. Knight has invested 33 million to St. Andrews since Jesus. I have a generally hate for the Blade, but they are making us look like frauds. Whenever the EFL, FFP rules that it'll usually suit Derby, yeah. They thought of it from the revelation. It seems I wish Chansiri would have done that at Hill early doors. What happened to Jack Clark? Jack Clark, I think, is he at Everton? I can't remember where Jack Clark is. I think the entire FFP rules are changed in FIFA and UEFA, becoming potentially revenue rather than profit and losses. Yeah, the compo that killed them. Blunt defensive better than our goal scored. It's only slightly better. Blunt Blades and their pass. Thank you. That's it. DC is in the UK. He came in November time because we had that photograph. He did come in November. He normally comes in the back end of. He either comes in middle of January or back end of January to sort things out. So we're interested. I think our lot is in favour of limiting parachute payments or the way it appears on the FS balance. Our turnover is 40 million for the season. Only parachute champ club better that. Chansiri will have waited until the window's literally open, then go and talk to Danny about transfer because it just seems how it works. No pre-planning or done on a day-to-day to speak. Yeah, I think that's the case. I think it is a case of a day-to-day thing. I think it's more of a lack of planning ahead. Then I think Kevin and Danny had done the planning, and now they're waiting for. Hey, it's all right, Danny. Anyone's allowed to talk football in it. It's fine. No issue with John talking it. Him and Worker were speaking about Birmingham, so it's interesting. Is there any transfer rumors that are even calculating for us? The Ronnie Edwards one. The Ronnie Edwards one and the Louis Barry one are the ones that I can see for us so far. They're the ones that are rumoured for us at the minute. The one with the Aussie lad came from Talk Sport, so it could be either way. So it could go either way for me. But at the end of the day, we know what we need. We need defenders, right? The one thing we need is defenders. If we can get defenders, fantastic. But we need defenders. And I personally think it's defenders and a creative midfielder. Yeah, the Aussie one, I've heard that. The Aussie one, it come from TalkSport. John, can I ask how your revenue is high? Is it through sponsorship or the owner gifting money or whichever way? Fair play. Knowing Birmingham with sponsorship, they'll have decent sponsorship. We don't. And that's another thing we don't do. We don't do sponsorships. Our sponsorship's crap. You look at who our shirt sponsorship is this year. I feel like the company that made our new buildings at the training ground were the people who are currently our sponsored. That's what it feels like. Because it's such a weird sponsorship that came out of nowhere for a front shirt sponsorship. We need more sponsorship. I'm too basic for football. My first reaction was we lose is sign up all the strikers. Yeah. 40 million in League One is insane. But we need proper sponsorships. Our sponsorships are nothing really to write home about. If you actually look at who the club sponsorships is, it's Mr. Vega, which is a good one. I don't like it gambling, but it is the latest, like, big named company. Mocha Module, who apparently are got some Russian ties. Blue Steel, the energy drink. DC, the director of that. Chancery himself, the Herb Group, NKM, Vizu, the smart taxi rides in Sheffield, Moles and Coles, We Buy Any Car, One Call, Just Eat, Assess Credit Management, Formby Brewery, what's this one? Martial Artists, NOLOPO, DEKX, which is our team sheet sponsor, Sulu, Alpha Recruitment, NutriX, and CarMats, who are the latest. That's our sponsorships. Nothing there makes you think they're huge. And then you got our kit sponsor, Macron, obviously. But, yeah, that's our sponsorships. So it's interesting. See if DC can manage to Nike sponsor until us. They're not the best, to be fair, for kit makers. I think you have to order... If I remember correctly, I think if I remember correctly, somebody I know who's a Barnsley fan, they work for Barnsley's kit lot. You have to order a certain amount, and once that order's done, you can't order anymore. If mainly sponsorship and commercial revenue, for instance, Delta Airline bought in a main sponsorship this season, defeated the shirt sponsor on a huge streetwear brand in the US. So it's all US sponsorship basically. A lot of clubs are sponsored come from wherever they organise things in general management position rather than chairman themselves. Yeah, a lot of it is someone will be in charge of doing the sponsorships. So what do we need to get someone we can move with people to get sponsorship? I have no idea. That crap, actually. I just assumed night meant calf flow. Not necessarily. You have to put like a minimum order in. Macron have a minimum order, but I think the minimum order that this is what they did for Barnsley was crap. He said it was shit. But yeah, our sponsorship, it's not the best. It's not the best at all. And I'd like to have more. Like if you want advertising, like if you want to do the LED boards, it's 1,500 plus that for pre-match. In game, it's $6,000 plus that. Half time, it's $3,000. Like our club partners, I've seen all like the club partner package. Like if you want a static board on the scoreboard kind of thing, or static board, it's 3,000 plus that. Social media advertisements, you just got to inquire on that one. You want to use the stadium TV, again, it's inquire. Like you want to go in the program for full page advertisement, it's $4,000 plus that, and that's for all 23 league fixtures of the game season. So yeah, it costs a bit. If you remember back in league, we got a lot of sponsors. What he did. Sneaky thing, if we do, we also made a social media impression deal. Every time someone mentions us on social media, Jesus Christ, that's decent. Right, I want that deal, John. I want that deal. Don't we still have Wilts? He's still on loan. Is he doing any good he's at Rotherham. He's not doing too badly. I think he's got a year left. So I think he might be sold in the summer or just let go. It's safe to say though, that regardless of DC in the lead position, Danny's the best manager in years. I agree. Excuse me. Sadly, nobody working at Wednesday had those sort of places in place. Being on the poll stuff. It's why I kind of feel like maybe when DC's son has gone through uni with his degree, he might come in and help on that side, but I don't know. And then when Tom Brown sees how many million followers and retweets the club post, yeah, it's smart, it's clever. Someone done the homework at generally done the homework there. That is very, very, very bloody clever. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I've been waffling for about an hour. It's been really good to speak to you all tonight. There will be no, there won't. This was a debrief. There will be a preview for Derby tomorrow. There'll be a preview tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. And then New Year's Day, we've got Derby. And then we've got Millwall on the 4th. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. It's been a really good discussion. I really liked this stream. Really good discussing everything with you guys and talking about where some of our failings are. We already know where they are, but where they could be improved. I'd like to see us bring in someone a little bit better. But, again, that's not our decisions. That's up to the man at the top, and we all know how that goes normally. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. See you later. Bye. Actually, you just reminded me. Well done, Daniel. Happy New Year, guys. Have an excellent New Year, because I realise that this is going to be the last one of the year, the last debrief this year. Happy New Year, and make sure you're all safe and well. I don't want to hear about anyone getting injured or hurt or anything. So have a good one, and I'll see you in the new year.